guys, welcome to Integer Rules Notes today. So today is the 19th. So we're going to put 8/19/2020 at the top of our paper. And this is going to be page 2. So if you're hybrid B, we will get to page 1 for you. My hybrid A kids, we started notes 1 yesterday, or page 1 of our notebook yesterday, and we'll continue to add to that. So I'm sure that you all are familiar with the integer rules, but we're going to do a quick review of them. So you have addition and you have subtraction. They're closely related, but we're going to start with addition. So when you see an addition problem, you're going to ask yourself, are the numbers that are in the addition problem have the same sign? So you're going to ask yourself, do they have the same sign? And you're either going to say yes or no. If you say yes, you're going to add them. You're going to add the numbers, and then you're going to keep them the same. You're going to keep it positive. So let me show you what that looks like. If you have a positive plus a positive, it will equal a positive. So a positive plus a positive would equal a positive. So this is a positive number. Plus a positive number. You guys, that sign means number. I know you think it means hashtag, and it does, but it also means number. So it's always in that context. So if you have a positive number plus a positive number, it is going to equal a positive number. So you just add them and you keep them both positive. If there's 3 positives, you guys, you would add them and you would keep 3 positives. Now, let's say you have negative numbers. You have a negative number plus a negative number, it will equal a negative number. So your answer would be negative. So this is a negative number plus a negative number, which would equal a negative number. So you guys, ask yourself, do the numbers have the same sign? So are they both positive? Are they both negative? Are all 3 of them positive or all 3 of them negative? It depends on how many numbers you have. If they're all positive, you're going to add them together and leave them positive. If they're both negative, if everything is negative, you'll add them together and your answer will be negative. But what happens if they have different signs? It has an addition, but they have different signs. Well, you're going to subtract, okay? And you guys, you're going to subtract like you normally subtract. So you would subtract the smaller number. I'm going to use that abbreviation again. The smaller number from the larger number. Now let's see what that looks like. So what I do, you guys, is I'm going to write positive really big. So I'm going to write positive all in capital letters. So if it's a positive plus a negative, that means your positive number is bigger than your negative number. Your positive number is bigger than your negative number. Your answer is going to be positive. You're still going to subtract, but your answer will be positive. If the bigger number is negative, and you guys, these can be switched. If your bigger number is negative, see how it's all capitalized? That means your bigger number is negative, and you're going to add a positive. You're going to subtract the 2 numbers, and your answer will be negative. Okay. So again, you guys, the reason that I capitalize the positive is because that is initiating that the bigger number is positive and the smaller number is negative. You would still subtract them, and your answer would be positive. If your bigger number is negative, you would still subtract them. Your answer would be negative. Now let's talk about subtraction. What would we do for subtraction? Well, subtraction, if you have a problem, we're going to keep the first number. So that means you're going to keep the first number the same. So keep the first number the same. That means you're not going to change it at all. You're going to change. So it's keep, change, change. You're going to keep and change the subtraction sign. Look, just like class, guys, run out of room. Subtraction sign to addition. So keep the first number the same, change the subtraction sign to addition, and then you're going to change the sign of the second number. Then what you're going to do finally is then you're going to go over here and you're going to follow the addition rules. Well, look at that. Okay. And I'm not just saying this part, you guys, you're going to follow all of the addition rules. And yeah, I ran out of room. And if you were in class with me, I ran out of room too. Okay. So we're going to do some examples of this. So these are the addition rules. For the subtraction rules, you would do keep the first number the same, change the second sign to addition, change the sign of the second number. So if the sign of the second number was positive, you would make it negative. If it was negative, you'd make it positive. And then you would follow the addition rules. So then you would ask yourself, is the new problem I have, do the numbers have the same sign or do they have different signs? Now we're going to do multiplication. Multiplication and division. So you're going to multiply or divide like normal. If the numbers are the same signs, like both numbers are the same or all numbers are the same, then the answer is going to be positive. If the numbers have different signs, so multiply or divide like normal. If the numbers have the same signs, the answer is positive. If the numbers are different signs, the answer is negative. And then let's just go over this. So if it's a positive times a positive, it equals a positive. Well, I did not give myself enough room, did I? If it's a positive times a negative, it's going to equal a negative. If it's a negative times a positive, and this goes for division as well. If it's a negative times a positive, then it equals negative. And lastly, if it's a negative times a negative, it will equal a positive. So we're going to keep these notes by our side and we're going to follow them. So we have addition, we have subtraction, we have multiplication and division. You guys, if you put division signs in for these multiplication, you would get the same thing. So if it was a positive divided by a positive, it would equal a positive. If it was a positive divided by a negative, your answer would be negative. So you treat multiplication and division exactly the same. So what I have for you is some examples. So we're going to do 4 examples of each kind. Now remember, you guys, if you need to, you can press pause when you're watching this video. Okay, so we're going to concentrate on addition. So I have -10 and -35. Are those the same signs? Yes, they're both negative, so it means I'm going to keep the sign. So I'm going to make it negative, and now I'm going to add 10 and 35. 10 plus 35 is 45. So we kept the negative because they both were negative. 45 plus 65, they're both positive, so I'm going to add those. Yep, I'm doing it old school, you guys. No calculator. So 5 plus 5 is 10. I bring down the 0, carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 6 is 110. And I kept it positive because they're both positive. Now, on letter C, they have different signs. One is negative and one is positive. So my signs are different. So I'm going to have to look at the bigger number. Is the negative bigger or is the 89 bigger? The 89 is bigger, that's positive, so my answer is going to be positive. And then I'm going to subtract. I'm just going to do 89 minus 11 because 89 is bigger. 9 minus 1 is 8. 8 minus 1 is 7. So my answer is positive 78. And the reason it is positive 78 is because 89 is bigger than 11. Now, if we look at D, the signs are different. But this time, I have more negatives than I do positives. My negative number, even though it's technically not bigger, 72, I have 72 negatives. So I'm going to subtract 72 minus 12. 2 minus 2 is 0. 7 minus 1 is 6. But because, remember, my answer is going to be negative 60 because my negative was bigger. So again, you guys, I had more negatives than I did positives, so I subtracted. I subtracted because my signs were different, but my answer is negative because I had more negatives than positives. I subtracted because my numbers were different, and I have more positives than negatives. That's why my answer is positive. Now we're going to do A on subtraction. In subtraction, it says, keep the first number. So I'm going to keep the first number. That first number stays. It says change the subtraction sign. So the subtraction sign is going to change from minus to addition. And then that 35, well, it was positive 35. Now I'm going to make it negative 35. Now you guys look, it looks like identical to the first equation, first problem. Negative 10 and negative 35 is negative 45. I keep the signs because they're both negative. Now let's change B. It says keep the first the same, so I'm going to keep that 11 the same, negative 11. I'm going to change the subtraction sign to addition. That 89, it was positive, so now I'm going to make it negative. Now the signs are the same, so I'm going to add them. And negative 11 plus 89 is 100, and it's going to be negative 100 because they're both negative. 45 minus negative 65, keep the 45, change the subtraction sign to addition, see how now the 65 is negative? I'm going to change that to 65 because it was negative. It says change the sign of the second number. And now 45 plus 65, because they're both positive, I add them and keep the same sign. And now we're going to do the last one. 12, change the subtraction sign to addition. The 72 was positive, so make that negative 72. Now we go to our addition rules. The signs are different, so we're going to subtract. 72 minus 12, we get 60. I have more negatives than I do positives, so my answer is negative. You guys, if you look at your notes, I made the negative in capital letters, and that's why I did that. Now, at any time, remember, I'm talking a lot, I'm going through the notes, you can stop it and rewind it. That's the beauty of it. Okay, now, we're going to go over multiplication and division. Multiplication and division are, do you have the same signs? So I have two negatives. So it says my answer will be positive. So 3 times 4 is 12. A positive 2 times 10 equals 20. Positive times a positive. Now look at this one. The signs are different. So 9 times negative 5 is negative 45. And then 24 divided by negative 3 is negative 8. These two have different signs, so you have one positive and one negative. That's why my answer was negative. Right here you have a positive divided by a negative. The signs are different. That's why my answer is negative. A negative times a negative is a positive. So that is these notes for today. You can also look at the pre-printed notes. And then I have an assignment. If you have questions, email me, send me something on Schoology, and I will help you. Have a great day, guys.